do not. That gateway was lost for the full 150 resources.
Wow.
Wow, this is potentially deadly. Looks like that photon cannon isn't gonna get off more kills. All the Zerglings are gone. Only drones are left. Zerglings now trying to push their way through as another Zealot does arrive, and the photon cannon is now down. Sage up 23 supply to 14.
This is such an unorthodox play, and sorry that we had a small stream crash. No problem whatsoever. It's a best of 5 series, but the game that is opening the best of 5 series is just going to be legendary. It is a play that we haven't seen at all. I think I don't even recall a game where someone would go proxy racks in such a location.
Yeah, a proxy gateway at the front door.
Sorry,
This
proxy, yeah.
Yeah, hiding in plain sight is a new term here, as SSanaEE is gonna have to figure out a one base play, and I'm pretty sure that Sage is much more comfortable. Zerg players are so used to being on at least 2 bases that SSanaEE or Rex's SSanaEE just may be on tilt a little.
Yes, and you know, he may be having problems with spending, with having minerals. He will have enough larva, alright, but you know, spending minerals on larva and making workers or new units will be a problem, because he will not have enough minerals for that without an expansion. So it's a very awkward spot that Sage has put his friend in. And like we mentioned, these guys sit next to each other in a gaming house. They could literally just look over each other's shoulder and check, you know, get some additional scouting information. But none of that will happen, of course. These guys are jolly good fellows, and they like each other. So so anyway, it's just interesting to see how they play. And the game that they have treated us with so far, so good.
Yeah, it's been very entertaining, and all SSanaEE can do is now, oh, this could be Nidus Worm. Where
yeah.
you go into a quick tier 2, and then you pretty much know that your opponent doesn't have anything inside your base. So he does need at least a spine crawler or 2 up here to make sure that the Zealots don't try to run up. But he could easily just go into a Nidus network and start causing problems that way. You can see that sentries are there to wall off just in case there is going to be a flood of units down. And here you have it, the Queen's walking down, quickly seeing a wall of 3-4 photon cannons.
They are just making sure that that you know, Sage keeps up the production here, because if they would see that he has backed away with his army, he no longer makes more cannons, then he would not be so certain with the Nidus Worm. And we already have this overload moving here, and will we have a Nidus network? Yes, there is one, so that overload already in place to make sure that the Nidus pops out in the right location. Although I think these gateways here in the base of Sage will see that Nidus.
Yeah, I think Sage pretty much knew the follow-up plan. He knows that Nidus is most likely coming in, and he's decided to build his base in such a way that there's no dead spot inside his base for a Nidus Worm to pop up.
Yeah, well, anyway, I think SSanaEE has to try it, because it's probably his last hope. And we have a Nidus popping here, and by the way, I love the new indicator on the map. And oh my god, Mothership Core sees that, although it may not have enough DPS to take it down before it pops, but a Zealot helps. And the Nidus Worm just pops in time to be destroyed. Not so good. We have a second one though, and that one will be taken care of also. Not looking good for SSanaEE.
Yeah, well, at this point, Sage does need to set up an expansion of his own, or at least do something somewhere. It is 1 base to 1 base, and there is now an Immortal out on the field cleaning up many of these creep tumors. Sage, sitting on 58 supply, has the worker advantage as well. And now finally Zerglings are going to be trying to attack the front door, but this is after 2 failed Nidus attempts already. And you can see creep tumors are being laid down, trying to move home with them.
And this is going to be a Baning bust, and I think that Sage may regret not having that Immortal back at home. So many Banings are on the way with a lot of Zergling support, but we have a Mothership Core. Oh, will come down to Micro. The wall on front is pretty much strong. Oh, the Banings try to sneak in and nearly get that pylon. It would be huge if they would be able to get inside the main, but no, sorry, last second force field saved the day again.
Alright, so a beautiful play by SSanaEE, moving an Overlord to spew creep up onto the high ground so that the creep can jump the cliff,
Yes.
and now we're going to see more creep moving in. Meanwhile, Zealot Sentry, Immortal, one base all in, essentially going to shut down the Nidus network, make sure that none of the Zerglings are able to reinforce back home, and I believe this will be the GG. Sage just has too much here in those invulnerable force fields to do anything about this.
Well, yeah, it looks pretty strong for Sage now, especially that he's on top with the force fields with his own base. Always lets 1 or 2 Banings in to make sure that the losses are there, but he doesn't let too many. So, you know, perfect precision and control from his side, and I'm not sure that SSanaEE has a big chance on it. On getting a shot and another force field just in the nick of time, to be honest. A lot of Banings have blew up. Was it a gateway? Yes, I think it was a gateway. And now we still have a strength of Zerglings and 1 Baning in the background, but no! SSanaEE says, okay, thank you very much for this game, let's see what you do in the second one. Such cheese we have not seen before.
Yeah, that was a very delicate, properly aged. I don't know my cheeses that well, so I'll just say Parmesan because I know I like that cheese. But yeah, that actually, yeah, I'll call it Parmesan because that was cheese to be appreciated. Like, I'm gonna build it, and I'm gonna build it so you spot it, and then let's see how the game unfolds. And I really enjoyed game 1. Let's see what game 2 has in store.
So many refreshing games we had tonight. I mean, tonight we saw all sorts of crazy strategies, and this was no different. So we already are invited into game number 2, which is great, and let's see how that unfolds. Most hilarious comment of them all in the chat. G-Fang says, these are 2 Korean players sitting in one room, or maybe it was just one of them playing for both. With the Korean reflexes, that would certainly be possible, but hey, who are we to judge? So, anyway, we'll be moving to the game number 2, and Sage is up 1 point right now, and we'll see. You know, in all honesty, I would love to play with one of my good buddies that sit next to me for $100 with around 600 people watching it. It never happened. I never got that dream fulfilled, but I help others to fulfill it.
Yeah, definitely. If you're able to just play a game and have your friend, like with your friend, and then you know what? It's good enough. We are so good that it's entertaining to watch. That's always nice, but we'll just have to live vicariously through Root Sage spawning over here in the top right-hand side of the map as the yellow Protoss. Meanwhile,
at the bottom left side of the map, we have SSanaEE spawning as the red Zerg, and I would be pretty much intimidated after the first game because games like that always throw you off balance, and I have discussed that with a lot of pro players, and all of them say that yeah, if something strange happens in game number 1 and it goes not my way, I get pretty much thrown off balance. I don't like to be playing that player anymore for a couple of minutes. Sometimes they even ask for a break after such a game so they can cool off. A lot
Yeah,
of things happen inside inside the minds of the players themselves.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mental game. You're just trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening. I was surprised at Sage's rather quick scouting probe. It came down. I don't know quite when it came down, but it came down like well before the 9 pylon was even set up. So,
oh, was it?
We'll see. Huh?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was. It's been sitting there for quite some time. So I was wondering what was going to be happening. Perhaps purposely moving down with that probe and making it look like he was going to try to do a similar strategy, like a double head fake, saying, you know what, I'm going to do what I did last time. No, I'm not. I'm just going to hide a probe here and see what happens next.
So Sage, I imagine that Sage is also one of the players that really annoy you if you play against them. He just drew kind of a heart around the expansion. That's something that Hag would do. And yeah, we have a pylon here, so in your face, my dear friend that's sitting next to me on my left. And Sage is going for a forge, although, you know, placing that pylon over there just makes him have his own nexus rather late.
Alright, this is really the first time I'm really casting a game on this map. What do you think about the positioning on this expansion here at the 9 o'clock position? It seems rather far, but I know that oftentimes Zerg players will take a further expansion. It just seems really out of the way and really exposed.
It seems so. That there are 3 different approaches to that base, and it's difficult to control it. Normally, Zergs are used to having, okay, 2 approaches. One would be an open approach, and the second one would be from somewhere else in the map where you need to take a longer way around. And here, we can pretty much move from anywhere, and there's such a long distance between these bases. So, for example, just, academically, if Protoss would go for air this game, the distance between these 2 bases, the distance around the ground, would not allow Queens to move quickly enough between the bases to defend air toss.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that. When I was looking at this map, I was thinking to myself, it's going to be difficult for Zerg to actually run up on 3 bases and be able to defend, and that's the position that Sage actually forced SSanaEE in. So he's perhaps a little bit uncomfortable. These players should be more familiar with the map than me, just because it is part of the Kespa map pool, and perhaps we'll see something that we haven't seen before.
And by the way, the Kespa maps, I usually like them. They're quite different in the way that they don't have Xel'Naga towers. Maybe that will become a trend, and I even think that I've heard an interview with Justin Bowder where he was asked specifically about that. And he said, yeah, you know, if players decide that not having Xel'Naga towers is cooler, then we're okay with removing them. So Blizzard seems to be pretty much open to whatever the players prefer.
Alright. Right now, both sides of these bases, we're gonna actually transition in more of a macro game, something that we haven't been able to see so far tonight all too much. It is gonna be a 3-base Zerg versus a 2-base Protoss.
Oh, and that one Zergling has just slided like half the map on ice. There's a hilarious smudge of blood around this. Oh my god. It's crazy. I'm not even used to seeing such things.
Alright, let's take a look. Overlord positions are looking good. I like how SSanaEE has so much map control and map awareness. He'll be able to slip out and see a whole bunch. One lonely stalker trying to make its way across the map will pick off one drone, but not very much of anything else.
Yeah, it's a Chuck Norris stalker, you know. He always, I always hunt alone. And I think from the shadows I come would also be a good Chuck Norris quote, by the way. But hey, we have Zerg on 3 bases, and as you can see, Zerg is struggling to get that creep carpet between his natural and his third. And Protoss will not be exploiting that by a mile. I think, oh, this pylon placement gets noticed by SSanaEE, and it's so good. I'm not sure Sage will be able to warp at even one round of units. Although,
we're gonna see.
that
Zerglings now being forced to run back. Stalkers and Zealots are there. It looks like some of those units are gonna get taken down, and this is going very well for Sage. SSanaEE does have a good supply advantage. 51 workers to 43. Army compositions are about even. The problem is that SSanaEE is perhaps spread a little bit thin.
Yeah, but the roaches are already there, and I went for a little bit faster, you know, a little faster roaches than usually you go, and he's prepared to defend anything that Sage is going to throw at him. And even Sage is not even engaging too much with his zealots. He doesn't want to lose them, and he's sacrificing this pylon because he knows, okay, this is not going to work. And also he leaves another one. And why? Because he took down an overlord that would notice it, and he's quite sure that after this one gets taken down, SSanaEE won't expect another one at pretty much the same location. So hiding things in plain sight seems to be the way that Sage rolls.
Alright, one Spine Crawler and a Queen trying to defend. Roaches do receive and welcome this party once more. Zealots are getting surrounded. Another drone does not die. Only
there's a huge run by with Dark Templars, and while SSanaEE was occupied with defending that third, 4 Dark Templars made it straight into the natural, and the third, as being the exposed base, was protected much better. It even had a Spore Crawler. Now Dark Templars will be, you know, they will be dealt with, but then he already has lost his natural. Not so good already. Oh my god, there's also one Dark Templar in SSanaEE's main, and I imagine that the Zerg player at this point in time is pretty much stressed.
Yeah, taking a look, very, very stressed at this point. Unit count, 41 workers compared to 52, but the workers killed show 25 compared to 1. That's always a little bit threatening when you take down 25 workers and you're only ahead by 10 at this point. But we'll see what the Zerglings are looking to do. They are going to scout out this 12 o'clock position, clean up this pylon, clean up this one probe there, and it is forcing Sage to stay on 2 bases.
Oh my god, my mind has been completely blown off. I just checked the APM tab, and Sage is at average of 278, and SSanaEE is on average of 330. Oh my god, these guys are moving at lightning speed.
Yeah, definitely so. And they need to keep up those high APMs just because of all the things that are going on the maps. Sage has been attacking at the natural expansion, the main base, and the third base all at the same time, forcing SSanaEE to split his attention, really keeping things even for Sage now.
Yeah, and Sage is very good with the run-by, so another Dark Templar on its way. I'm not sure. There's a Spore Crawler there, so Dark Templar, the most that he can do is maybe take down that Queen, but it runs away. It noticed a little dot. It noticed that, no, it didn't notice, it didn't even notice that there's a dot on the minimap. It just noticed that the Creep Tumor was taken down, so extra careful attention from SSanaEE, and now we know what he's spending all that APM on. Now, Sage is playing a very careful game. You could call that a Game of Thrones, because he positions himself, he moves constantly around, so he doesn't stand too long in a single spot, so his opponent needs to pay even more attention to scouting. And that pylon, by the way, that one sneaky pylon hidden in plain sight is still there.
Yeah, that pylon right there is reinforcing and causing a lot of pressure on this third base. And this is where SSanaEE is going to have problems. He has no options for a real fourth. There is a pylon blocking as Stalkers are now pushing it into the third base. Down goes the Queen. And here's the engagement of Mortals. Force fields do come down, a beautiful wall. Yes. As Sage is going to be able to perhaps shut down this hatchery.
And I think it would be one of the smartest things to do right now to focus the hatchery, but then he backs away and waits for reinforcements. So Sage playing this again precisely and smartly. I think the 2 words precise and smart are the things that could be used to describe Sage's style of play. It's exactly like him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to overinvest. He could have easily taken down that hatchery, but he knew the timing on the force fields. He knew that that would be coming down, and that would be a potential problem. But what is this? We are now seeing a transition into swarm hosts with the evolution of Enduring Locust. The Enduring Locust evolution adds an additional 10 seconds of life for those locusts, which also means that they can travel faster and deal more damage since they are going to be around longer.
Oh, and the observer just got picked out by the Hydras. Not sure how that happened because there was no detection around, or what?
No, there was an overseer that you just missed.
Ah, alright, so there was one passing by. So anyway, right now Sage is just running away from the locusts, and you know, that's the right choice. You don't want to fight locusts heads on because then you keep losing your units while they respawn. You need to have something on the Zerg. You need to have some sort of splash damage, or you may want to have Blink Stalkers being prepared where the life cycle of the Locust runs out, and then you have a chance and get a shot on the Swarm hosts. Anyway, you need to be smart about this. And again, Heart of the Swarm is just encouraging the smart type of play.
Definitely, definitely. Encouraging just a smarter play. We are going to see Locust just sacrificing themselves, and this is going to keep Sage back. SSanaEE is just trying to buy himself time at this point to figure out what he's going to do next. He doesn't expect these Swarm hosts to win him the game outright, but he needs to make sure to delay Sage from freely moving about and perhaps poking in a little bit too far.
Yeah, and by the way, one of the strange terrain features on this map is that there's a ramp here, which looks like a half ramp from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which is above high ground, and it carries on to the lower ground on the other side. It looks weird, but anyway, right now Sage is taking all these locusts heads on, so he's hoping, okay, I want to cut into the cycle, but then he noticed, oh my god, I have lost too many of my zealots. Without meat shields, without my cannon fodder, I cannot progress.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so smart. Did you see what he did? He knew that the locusts are going to go this way, and he went the other way. So he swung around, and now Swarm hosts are out of position. But then, he took too long a while, and now the locusts are participating in the battle. Not sure how will that work for the Protoss. This is so tense. Sage with a lot of firepower, and yes, he takes down the locusts, and he takes down most of the Zerg units. I think he feels relieved.
Yeah, another round of Locusts just pops up. The Locusts are firing back. The Locusts do get weapons upgrade. This is very important. I believe all the observers were taken out, and with no Colossi to share in the splash damage, I don't believe they can chase. SSanaEE getting a free Immortal on the run since they are fighting on creep. And this is a 3-base Protoss, or now 2.5 base Protoss, as the main base nearly mined out, versus what will be a 3-base Zerg if SSanaEE can get this 6 o'clock expansion going.
Oh, and this Overlord here placed at the north sees everything. And as we said, you know, you need to be very careful. And I think something that perhaps didn't work quite well for the Protoss is he was missing an armor upgrade, maybe. He was missing a bit of damage, because I can easily see Sage winning that battle completely, but then after he has lost the observers and he wasn't even able to target down all of these swarm hosts, he basically had to back away, and he has lost a lot, not because he had a smaller army, but because of the tactical advantage of Rex SSanaEE.
Okay, so the tactical advantage of Rex SSanaEE. Now he's moving around with these swarm hosts, and he's moving with the observers, but this is a yin and a yang move as Sage finds an opening in SSanaEE's base. Down goes that one swarm host there, and this 6 o'clock expansion will get taken down at the expense of the 12 o'clock expansion.
Exactly right.
Swarm host gonna take it down, and it is gonna be at least an expansion trade here.
But then Sage, this actually puts Sage in a very good position, at least for a while, until the swarm hosts are back home, and now they are. So Sage has to run away, and he may even lose a lot of units. But then very good force fields, and he actually can take a lot of units. Now we have two or three farting units, which are called Vipers, to take care of the Protoss army, and this is not looking good for Sage. This trade has not, in fact, been very effective.
Alright, Sage now still behind by about 30-40 supply army compositions. SSanaEE is ahead in both army and is slightly behind in terms of workers, but with the limited number of bases, Sage is actually, I believe, oversaturated somewhere. Yeah, 30 over 24 workers at this 6 o'clock location. He needs to figure out a way to get these probes moved somewhere else.
Yes, and Sage has been trying to get additional expansions all around the map, but he wasn't able. He tried the left top corner location as well as the bottom right, but neither one of them has worked for him, and now he is forced to cancel even this one on gold minerals. And I think that, you know, the Zerg swarm is just moving upon Sage, and Sage will have to face the reality quite soon, and he doesn't really have any means to deal with that. He's going for high temper. He will be having the storm tech finished quite soon, but I'm not sure it will be soon enough.
Alright, coming across, the Stalkers are going to engage. Immortals are in position. There's a whole bunch of feedbacks hitting the Vipers, hitting the Overseers, and that is going to start to whittle through SSanaEE's numbers. SSanaEE does have a supply advantage, and the Swarm hosts are slowly, they're making their way in, sacrificing themselves for the greater good.
And the greater good seems to be in favor of SSanaEE. Another wave of swarm hosts. I'm not sure Sage can take this. Oh, even the gas cloud at and losing mothership core. Not so good. Sage is right now being ripped apart by the Zerg swarm.
All right, there you have it. SSanaEE takes game 2.
Yes, this is game 2 of a best of 5 series. Okay. So we have a 1-1 result, and you know, they can do a bro fist right now because they gave us some nice and well-deserved entertainment. This is all for you guys. You're an awesome audience, so you deserve games like this every day, just before the cocoa, before you go to sleep. So while the guys are trying to figure out what the next map is going to be, I wanted to remind you that there is a contest for you. So if you go to Team Liquid and if you leave your feedback about our commentary on Team Liquid, then you join the pool of people who are able to win a Heart of the Swarm copy. Right at the day of launch, we have 5 copies, especially for you guys who make the comments, and you know, this can make you very happy people at the March 12th. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is Tuesday, March 12th?
Yes, it is. I'm taking a day off then. Anyway, pretty sweet. Some of you have been asking who's casting with me. This is Crota, and you can post a link to your channel on the chat right now. Are you on the chat?
I am not. Let me head over there.
Then you may be wanting to join the game, and I'll just post the link to your channel then. All right. And the game is on. Alright guys, and the game is up here, and here in the bottom left corner of Newkirk something, we have Sage spawning as the yellow Protoss.
Over here on the bottom right hand side of the map, we have SSanaEE, and this is going to be a PvZ, and there, once again, is that a very early probe, or
yes,
is that just me?
Yes, it is. It's one of the first probes. It isn't even the probe you have produced. So is Sage going for another form of cheese? I imagine it's 4 AM right now for these guys, and both of these guys are from Korea. And yes, he goes for a pilot at the spot where the Zerg's expansion would be. And is this going to play out exactly as the game number 1?
You know, only time can tell what's going to be happening. The path here and the logic here actually makes a lot of sense. Sage perhaps knows that the Overlord is just going to be making a straight move over here into the main base as opposed to trying to do any other flight. There in comes the probe. The timing on it looks about right. I believe the standard Actually, it would still be a little bit earlier than normal, and SSanaEE may have actually caught that. That is slightly
Well, but
earlier
that
than you
is
would
a
normally
very
expect.
subtle trick. I mean, if you pick up that the probe scout is 5 seconds off, I can congratulate you.
Well, we can see that the spawning pool is down instead, and the drone is going to scout this out once more, and what is he going to do when he sees that there is, in fact, a gateway at his natural expansion?
Yeah, he already sees that with the drone that was supposed to build an expansion there, and right now there is not much SSanaEE can do. He needs to wait until the spawning pool finishes to start producing his queens and spine crawlers. And this is a very innovative strategy by Sage, and it works better in Heart of the Swarm with the addition of the Mothership Core, because normally if you would go for such an early game push and then the Zerg kinda contains you around his own ramp, then the game just dragged, and eventually Zerg has beaten you because he had the higher ground advantage. With the addition of the Mothership Core, that high ground advantage is negated, and you can at least have the high ground vision.
Yeah, what we're going to see now is Sage holding position on 2 zealots here. The drones are going to try to push down, and what's going to be happening here? That is a lot of drones. This is a lot of resources lost every
and this
minute.
is a scarecrow. I mean, this rush is only a scarecrow to force all of that movement that SSanaEE is doing right now, and in fact, behind that, Sage very smartly is going for an expansion. That's it. That's how simple it is. And he will already have the photon cannon in position. I would be cautious about placing perhaps a gateway before going for Nexus, so you know the photon cannon has time to deal the damage that it wants. But SSanaEE is not going. Yes, he is going in. All right, I was wondering is he going to stay in his own base? That would not be so good if you have produced so many Zerglings anyway.
Alright, so what we're going to see Sage now do, most likely warp in a second gateway. He's waiting for the resources. This could be cutting it a little bit close. He needs to get a lot of hit points on that additional building, otherwise the Zerglings will be able to take it down. And we already see that the Zerglings are at the front door. Here they come. And is Sage going to respond in time? Oh, goodness!
No, he didn't notice, and all of the Zerglings are in. They even skipped the cannon, even though they would be able to take it down, and they head straight for the main mineral line. And there's a little bit of indecisiveness in SSanaEE's movement. They are going for the Nexus. That's ballsy.
Yeah, that's being very nice. I think a lot of that damage, you know, all the probes are taken down, or all the probes have taken it down. There's only 6 workers killed. Harvester count 19 to 17. Zealots are now trying to engage.
Oh my god,
over here
and
by
the
SSanaEE.
Zealots will take down 2 queens. It seems the one left standing is trying to run, and it did run away, but still, 2 Zealots have managed to kill 1 queen off, and then the second one is barely alive. So Sage again showing us some sterile examples of his play. Now, I'm not sure of the decision that SSanaEE made with attacking this Nexus. It was obvious that the workers are going to target the Zerglings. He probably would have been better off trying to position his Zerglings in the mineral line anyway.
Yeah, I think taking down some extra probes would have been better, but with the one saving grace for Sage, or for SSanaEE, was that when he was trying to attack the Nexus, the probes couldn't just sit around and be idle. The probes had to pull off and attack. There was a little bit of mining time loss, and also the Zerglings couldn't get surrounded by probes.
Yes, they had
the
their
probes
back
are actually
to the
in
Nexus.
the mineral line. Yeah.
You're exactly right with that. So SSanaEE right now just positioning his overlords all around the map. He's going for a Roach Warren, and he already has 3 bases. So all in all, I wouldn't say that he was damaged that much. Right now he's just you know, trying to chill down, and he needs to be more careful. I guess that's it.
Alright, so somehow through a crazy course of events, we are now at a 3-base Zerg and a 2-base Protoss, and I don't think I've ever seen a game get to this point in this particular fashion. So this isn't your typical game, and we'll see what these players have in store for us, as Sage is now going for a heavy sentry count and perhaps going for Immortals.
yes, he probably will, even if not for Immortals, because we already saw one of his pushes being there without Immortals, he may go for... Yeah, exactly. I was going to say he probably is going to go for a Warp Prism and just do a Sentry drop as opposed to the Sentry Immortal all-in. But then also, if we check the timing on the game itself, we're not that much off. The opening was the craziest of them all, and we are around 30 seconds of the usual timing of the things that we're seeing right now on our screens.
Yeah, so, but Sage is right now behind. He is sitting at 55 over 60 supplies. SSanaEE able to utilize that very heavy, you know, just that Zerg engine. Even though the Zerg engine was delayed, didn't get the double expansions until a bit later.
And the Warp Prism gets noticed by the Overlord, and the SSanaEE's Overlord placement is just so strong. So, not so good. It's not looking so good for Sage. SSanaEE probably is going to expect this attack. He is going for the Hydralisk then, and he already has some roaches on the map, I believe. Yes, there are 10 roaches that are making way back to the main, but they may not be there in time. Oh my god, a force field goes down on the ramp. 4 Stalkers being worked in, more than enough to take care of that roach. And I'm sorry, dear friend. Now, what would be an awesome follow-up to this is a Mothership Core, so as soon as these units start getting overwhelmed, he would just easily teleport back to his own base, teleport back to Ire for where he came from. And he took down the Hydra then? Oh my god, this is so huge.
Yeah, taking down that Hydra stand was a very, very key move there. The Stalkers are now up on the high ground, focusing down drones and queens on the low ground here. And also, Sage has not been forced to reinforce at the natural or at the aggressive point. You can see multiple photon cannons coming in. There are 4 sentries here. They are pretty much out of energy, though. This is going to be problematic, as we should be seeing Chrono Boost out on the robotics facility.
Oh my god! And Sage running away with the Warp Prism, who has only 4 hit points, and someone has lagged the game. Oh, and it gets destroyed. This was one of the Matrix moments where Sage was trying to reprogram the Matrix, but I'm sorry, you weren't the chosen one, my friends. SSanaEE taking down the Forge here, but not sure he can get past through all that guard that is present here by Sage.
Yeah, but at this point, I don't think Sage did enough damage. If you take a look at the losses are about even, but the Harvester count is still a 14 Harvester difference for SSanaEE. So SSanaEE pretty much can afford to lose more since he has a more economy. What's going to be crucial now for Sage is moving back out, making sure he has a strong timing, he gets his Colossi in a strong position, and also making sure that SSanaEE doesn't get Corruptors. If Sage is only going up against Hydralisk and Roaches, the Colossi composition should be good enough.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and wow, this game keeps surprising me. These players also keep surprising me, because so many things have happened already that would normally end a game. I mean, you know, proxy gateway, then losing Hydra, then, you know, Sentry Stalker, maybe not all in, but Sentry Stalker attack that did hit before any units got into the main. All of that happened, and the game is still up, and it looks pretty much standard, but all time along, something has been happening around the map. So much aggression.
Yeah, it's better than at this point they haven't even seen each other yet. This time they have been poking back and forth, but it still looks like a standard game. As it's been said before, Starcraft, it's not only about where you're trying to go, it's how you get there. And how we've gotten to this point has been significantly different than many of the previous games.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's I think the best game of the tournament so far. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, just unorthodox opening followed by yes, I can't even summarize it in words, as action is about
yeah,
to
it's
start.
too difficult. So anyway, here we have the battle, and SSanaEE, wow, very good at surrounding the Protoss, and now Sage is having some trouble saving his own Colossi. Oh, well, the Guardian Shield did get out, and is there enough of Protoss? It seems there is, and barely with 1 Colossi left, Sage is pushing ahead. I think where he got ahead is... No, he doesn't even have more upgrades. This push was just staged so well that it actually worked. And even despite SSanaEE surrounding the Protoss, Sage is now ahead in army supply a little bit. No, he isn't. Oh my god, SSanaEE is going to get ahead again. Wow. This... yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Sage has just been utilizing, he's been having a larger army every time. Colossi now trying to run away. Looks like it will be able to get there. A beautiful force field right at the heels, and it saves it once more. Alright, SSanaEE has to be very careful here. He could try to engage with these roaches and then pop up and snipe down that low hit point Colossus. There's too many burrowed roaches, and Sage perhaps feels that way. Now the roaches are trying to come in, trying to take down the lower hit point units, but Sage smartly, or with the correct decision, decides to retreat and return back home. But when he comes back, he will be having to deal with swarm hosts.
These guys can't kill each other, my friend. They just, you know, they keep trading blows, but it doesn't have any significant consequences. So they are so good at surviving. If you would have a post-apocalyptic scenario, I would prefer to have Sage or SSanaEE at my side, to be honest. They are so good at survival.
Yeah, I guess you can say SSanaEE is surviving like a roach. He's just not getting killed whenever he keeps on losing base after base. You can see SSanaEE now trying to rebuild his hatchery here. He is trying to reestablish his fourth. A Zealot will be heading along the back door here, catching SSanaEE's base as a Zealot drop happening in the main, but the Zealots will most likely just get cleaned up.
Oh, and the one gets left behind and it screams, "Why me?" And I'm sorry, he won't be having any of that. There's another Zealot at the top right expansion, but there's only a single one. It is mainly designed to try to lure SSanaEE's attention away from the main game, so in the backstage Sage can just get even more ahead, or try to tech or take the third, which is the thing that he's doing right now.
Alright, so right now I can see, I believe a Mothership Core is finally out on the field again. We are going into double Stargates, and Mothership, which used to be a crucial unit in PvZ, I haven't really seen it used much in Heart of the Swarm. Would you agree?
Yes, you're exactly right, and also recently it has been killed off by the fact that it no longer has the Vortex ability. So Archon Toilet is nothing that it's not something that you could perform in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, so all it really has is that time warp.
Oh, but then hold that thought. A ton of Mutas is making their way to the Protoss's base, but then we have a ton of Stalkers to counter that, so pretty nice and safe.
Yeah, Mutalisk now much faster than they used to be, now with a movement speed of 4 as opposed to 3.75. I guess it's not that much faster, about an 8% increase, but Mutalisk were already so gosh darn fast. Anything that makes them faster just looks to be a little bit more broken, but we'll see whether or not the Phoenixes that are now being trained will be able to deal with them. I believe a fleet beacon is down, but I don't know if the range upgrade has been started.
Well, by the way, Phoenixes already have a range upgrade embedded with them. They have now range of 5 instead of 4, as opposed to Wings of Liberty. But the range upgrade still gives them plus additional 2.
Yeah, range of 7 on what used to be a short, a close combat, air-to-air fighter. Very strong here as
it's
SSanaEE
like
now
having a
maximum
sniper
supply.
shotgun, really.
Yeah, sniper shotgun.
There was such a weapon though in Battlefield 3. I think it was hilarious. It just shot one huge ball of iron, and it was a shotgun, but it was so precise you could shoot down enemies from afar.
Sniper shotgun.
Yeah.
Okay, hallucinated Phoenix is now happening, or flying over to the top. Hallucinated Oracle now flying around, and perhaps the Corruptor knows that that is an hallucination, simply ignoring it as the Phoenixes are now doing a quick flyby. Mutalisk is going to ignore them, as well as we see the main squadron now coming in, poking apart some Overlords. No upgrades though on those Phoenixes that I see.
By the way, when you face Mutas, one of the things you should go for most definitely is at least one Oracle, just so she places one reveal or Envision, sorry, I keep messing the names of that abilities on the Mutas, and if that happens, then the Mutas positioning is no longer a secret to you. And now, oh, the Phoenixes are going to work double shift in order to counter the Mutas, but then we have a nice group of Stalkers without a blink though, so it's not so good. And now, oh, not so good. All the Corruptors get chased down by the Phoenixes. That's not a scenario you would usually have.
Yeah, Phoenixes generally or have a superior range, or sorry, Corruptors have superior range than Phoenix, which is one of the. Oh, now we have a range of 7 on the Phoenixes. So yeah, the Crystal, I forget the name of the upgrade, the +2 range on those Phoenixes, gonna make a very big impact as the Mutalisks are trying to chase. The Phoenixes got a bit too close, losing a few there.
And I think that you know, SSanaEE may try to go with a different approach to Sage's base, because from this angle it will actually be very hard to get any real damage done. Although, hold that thought, that Nexus may go down, or will it? No, it gets saved by Sage.
Alright, so Sage desperately holding on to this base. Meanwhile, Roach is now going to try to walk straight up inside. Where are they going to go? And how much damage can they do? The Mutalisks and the Corruptors going after Colossi. What are the Colossi doing here against an air army besides getting destroyed? Stalkers, though, pushing them back once more as the Roaches are now trying to make their way inside the main base.
And the Phoenixes are now engaged in trying to pick off Roaches, which is not a very effective way of dealing with them. But still, Sage has to improvise, and he's protecting this side of the base with 2 Tempests and a lot of Stalker Sentry Force.
Alright, 4 Tempests in the air. We can see a Dark Shrine now being added as well. Storm, Blink, every upgrade imaginable. We are still only at tier 2 for Zerg. He has not gone to tier 3 as both sides are fighting it out. And wow, so many units, so much attacking going on as the Stalkers are focusing down Mutalisks and Corruptors. Is it gonna be enough? Sage losing a lot as we are seeing perhaps Sai trying to remax, getting back up to 189 as Sage is now down to 149.
Yeah, we need to remember that Tempest, although they are very good air units, they are massive. And guess what the Corruptors deal additional damage to? You guessed right, massive units. So, you know, a bunch of Corruptors against a couple of Tempests, it's not really working.
So far,
Sage,
both of these players, yeah, they don't counter each other. So, so far, both of these players have been trying to find an opening and trying to just like pummel through that opening, and it hasn't worked. And SSanaEE has gotten to the point where he can just start making a whole bunch of spine crawlers, which is very, very deadly.
And oh my god, that storm, that second storm, and in an instant, nearly all of the Zerg's air units go down. Wow.
Wow, yeah, that was a quick turn of events. SSanaEE now has lost 10,000 more resources than Sage, and I gotta believe a lot of those were in Mutalisks. And what is SSanaEE going to try to do in order to counterattack? This is not looking good for SSanaEE after one fall asleep at the wheel, and all he can now do is remax with Zerglings.
I mean, I told you, he probably should have gone for a different approach. Now smartly Sage detects this spine crawler forest and then sees, oh my god, this is not something I want to go through, and he sends off a single Dark Templar to deal as much damage. Although smartly, SSanaEE is blocking the access to the drones with his Zerglings, and now that Dark Templar is kinda trapped and surrounded by bugs, even though he's invisible.
Yeah, he's trying to make his way out. A Spore Crawler will be popping up there in just a moment, revealing that poor Dark Templar. He has nowhere to go except home. And wait, oh, the Zerglings are still on hold position. And they're not attacking the Dark Templar.
And he is ripping his way. If that Dark Templar would survive, it would be one of the most epic moments of Starcraft 2 history. Just cut his way out.
That would be your Chuck Norris Dark Templar.
Yeah.
He works alone.
And Tempest getting a couple of shots off on the Mutas, but they no longer have splash damage in air. Maybe the animation will even get changed. The Stalkers are here, but they are infected with the gas cloud, I think. No, sorry, it was grass. I'm seeing things right now. And there are not too many Phoenixes left, and Sage just tries to approach this wall, but this is like the North Wall in Game of Thrones. You cannot get past that from the other side. Now, Dark Templars defending this base from a Zergling run by, a waste of these Dark Energy Blades. But SSanaEE has finally forced out Sage of his position, and right now Sage will have a bit of problems trying to defend this.
Alright, so this air army of Mutalisks and Corruptors, 34 Mutalisks here. The range on those Tempests, 6 Tempests able to blast from a long distance, flying mobile siege tanks that don't deal splash damage. You can see Photon Cannons now trying to come in, and
oh my god, all of them getting destroyed, not even cancelled. 2 of them have been saved. And right now there are Archons. Are there? Yes, there are High Templars, and you know, Sage is just waiting for the perfect storm occasion. He needs to be careful. He doesn't want to show he has High Templars too early. Probably the opponent just sees a garble of sentries with a lot of energy on them, and oh, there is a storm right now.
Alright, those storms have been hitting. The Mutalisks have not been staying in the storm for very long, but you can see how much damage it's doing just because those Mutalisks are stacked up so high, so heavily. Now, taking a look at the Mutalisk count, we're up to 43 Mutalisks.
Wow, what's up with that?
Yeah. 43 Mutalisks is a rather high number. Is this hatchery gonna fall? Oh, no, it gets to get cancelled and rebuilt. Zerglings able to take it down, and surprisingly, the Zerglings have no upgrades whatsoever. This is purely a Sky Zerg upgraded army, now going to be 2-2.
I have never seen a game with 43 mutas. I mean, I have seen some crazy games, but not with 43 mutas. Now, there are Archons here, but yeah, the storm kinda chases them away. But with the health regeneration they are so much more powerful. And no, they go straight after the Tempest, getting a couple nice shots off. Well, but they need to be careful. The numbers are not dwindling for now. Maybe lost a couple, but you know, they are keeping in a position where Storm is just a temptation, but you are not sure you can get that off. But then they have just crossed a path of health, you know, above Archons, and that didn't work too well for them.
Alright, both of them still going back and forth. This game is going to go long. Both of them do have significant banks. The main center Spinecrawler wall has been destroyed. The Great Wall of Spines now just a bloody mess here as the Archons, Stalkers, and Colossi still pushing through. Mutalisks need to get back home and try and save this. 13 Corruptors now being added, but is it going to matter as the Stalkers are going to be able to blink straight up underneath and take them down?
Well, what SSanaEE has used or has done is not to build up a huge bank of minerals and gas. Instead, he just built a huge bank of Spinecrawlers, and that actually has slowed down Protoss considerably enough. And Protoss has issues right now. He cannot get past the half of the map. That's actually a huge issue for him.
Yeah, there's still Spinecrawlers here. I like how they're positioned. They're positioned in such a way that the Colossi cannot deal splash damage to more than one. But what's the real issue now is the Corruptors need to focus down the Tempest. There it goes. There goes one. Psystorm should be coming in. There's some Spinecrawlers. Whole bunch of High Templar. All the Tempests will get taken down. But at what cost? Oh no, 2 Tempests left as all the Corruptors get taken down here.
And SSanaEE is pushing this through, is trying to defend this. So what I meant to say is Sage is pushing this through, and he has a lot of storm energy. That seems to be his main driver. There's a nice wall of Stalkers at his third that's about to defend any number of mutas that come on their way, and we now have Vipers in production, although the Zerg who didn't build up a bank and has put all of that into Spinecrawlers and is now losing them is not something that will be really attractive.
Yeah, take a look at the units lost. 29,000 versus 55,000. SSanaEE on the losing end there. All the units are backing off here. Storm, Stalkers blinking forward. And I believe this may be the hair that broke the camel's back, being able to push through. No more Spinecrawlers are left. Storm melting through much of the army here. Roaches are trying to at least get some sort of remax back in.
And has Sage done it? Yes, he has. There's a GG. Wow. This game blew my mind, and just to record, just for the record, this game has started with a proxy gate.
Yeah.
Games like that don't happen. It's maybe we are in Wonderland right now.
Well, maybe, you know, I think by this time it's so late in Korea for both of these players. It's now early.
It's
so
8 a.m. now.
Yeah. So at this point, they're like, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah, it's cool. Let's let's do this. They are probably hyped on energy drinks or just eating coffee beans as they play, just chewing on them to be more effective than just having a coffee. Ah, what a game. By the way, we are already in the lobby. You can join if you want. I will understand. I will totally understand if you don't.
I do need to eat, but you know, Starcraft is calling.
Yeah, you just have to have your priorities sorted in your life, don't you?
Yes, definitely. All right. Let's do this.
So Sage up 2-0, and by the way, for us in Poland, it's already midnight, past midnight, in fact, and yeah. That comment didn't have any relation with anything that I said previously, just a random comment. So I've heard you've done a lot of Warcraft freecasting in your time.
Yes, I have.
I would like to check something with you. Some people think I have quite good imitation of Warcraft 3 orc voice, and if you could verify that for me, I could then proudly present it to more people, or just pretend it didn't happen. So here it goes.
Work.
That's really good.
There's something need doing.
So yeah,
that's really good. Or you have some sort of device on your computer that's playing all of those sounds and messing me up.
No.
I could say everything I want with this voice.
Very, very well done.
Okay, thank you very much. I can carry on thinking that I can in fact do a good imitation of Warcraft 3 voice, and that has been certified by you, which is good enough for me. So let's introduce the players anyway. Let's not get sidetracked. Here we have SSanaEE spawning in the bottom left corner of the Daybreak map.
Meanwhile, we have Roots Sage spawning on the top right-hand side of Daybreak as the yellow Protoss. Protoss versus Zerg, and after all of those crazy games, it looks like Sage is once more playing a traditional PvZ.
Yes, it certainly looks like so. So anyway, at this stage, I think SSanaEE is so messed up with that he is thinking, okay, he can go for pretty much anything. Oh, and this is why I admire. He still goes for 14 spawning pool. He didn't do anything reckless, like going for a 6 pull or 12 or 10 pull and trying to go aggressive. No, he's playing his standard and just trying to figure out how to deal with his opponent. That's actually a sign of a lot of experience on his side.
Yeah, a lot of the times players will be like, you know what, he's gonna do something so off the wall. I need to change up my game plan. But what ends up happening is because you change up your game plan, you throw off your game so much that you don't know what to do, and that does often happen. You can see that SSanaEE sitting on about 300 minerals right now, training up a queen, and 4 Zerglings will be able to expand to his natural. Meanwhile, Sage already started his natural expansion, as I'm sure both of these players are rather tired.
Also, Sage has blocked, with a single probe, he has blocked not only the natural, but also the third. So what usually happens when the Zerg sees that the natural is getting blocked is he goes straight for the third, and Sage also went there, so Zerg didn't have a chance to take any sort of expansion. Right now is taking 2 at the same time. This is going to mess up a bit with his timings, but then I wouldn't imagine that will throw him off balance.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say we won't see any real attack until about the 8 or 10 minute mark. Both of these players going to be sitting back in their bases, macroing up, training units, and this is going to be a Heart of the Swarm game, doing a very good Wings of Liberty impersonation.
Yeah. So now I just took a look at the forge. We will see. Now I think that the one of the turning points of this game is to be if there will be a +1 upgrade on the forge. I would like to see Sage going for free base play. That would actually be quite interesting. He doesn't do that too often, as we noticed. He is a much more innovative player, but hey, we'll see. Now there's a +1 upgrade, so this is going to be a 2-base sort of all-in. And by the way, you must have noticed how all-ins have become the standard in PvZ. When you're the Protoss, you kinda need to go all-in, otherwise the Zerg will just outmax you.
Yeah, that's really been the case. The Zerg engine, so strong. Protoss, even in Heart of the Swarm, doesn't have that many harassing units effective against Zerg. The Oracle, as powerful as it is, if there wasn't a necessary moving tower in the name of a queen at every hatchery, it might actually be more effective.
Yeah. By the way, did you notice? That's off topic really, but since we are having a very standard game, and by the way, just to note, Sage goes for a Stargate play. This is where actually we'll see some difference between this and Wings of Liberty play. Have you noticed how much change did the additional range on Queen bring to Heart of the Swarm? Sorry, to Wings of Liberty. It has changed the whole style for Terran, how you play against that. Hellions, for example, are much less viable because you only need queens to defend them. And
I thought queens always had a range of 5, even in Wings of Liberty now.
No. They used to have a range of 4.
I thought they was like 3 or 4, and I think they went from 3 to 5, which is current in Wings of Liberty because queens now can attack past force fields. So
yes, I only meant the change in Wings of Liberty. So in Heart of the Swarm, this is right from the beginning. It's how it is. But in Wings of Liberty, that small change, I just wanted to make a point that sometimes a very small change can make significant changes to the gameplay in overall.
Yeah, when I saw that queen buff from like 3 to 5, I was like, what happened to 4? Like queens are now the answer to Reapers, Hellions, and Banshees.
Yeah, Blizzard has just skipped a bit, you know.
Yeah, a little curious about that, as we do see a 1 Void Ray coming out from Sage, dealing a lot of extra damage, taking down 1 Overlord, and now taking down a second one already, and supply blocking SSanaEE, which is going to cause a little bit of problems as he's now training up 7 Overlords at a time.
Oh my god, and yeah, he has to, because he has just lost 3 in a very short amount of time. And now Sage is going for a follow-up. We have 4 gates, yes, 4 gates and a Stargate. Only 1 Void Ray with that attack, although that 1 Void Ray can make a very significant difference with his Prismatic Alignment ability. And he's going after the Queen, which doesn't stand a chance against such a heavy war machine. There's a second Void Ray that joins the force, and the Roach gets trapped between the Zealots. Not the kind of a threesome he was looking for, and that's kind of it for this base, I would say. Although there's 1 more Queen, and the Prismatic ability is already done, and the Queen will go down shortly before the Void Ray gets taken down, and now the Roaches are all screwed, and Sage took down this expansion. Yeah, and he can just sacrifice all of his Zealots.
I was actually surprised that Sage decided to use the Void Rays against the Queens, since the Queens are not armored units. It doesn't deal any extra damage to them, and the Roaches were really taking a really heavy toll out of the Zealots. The Void Rays are now going to be forced to try to do a little bit of catch-up, take down some of these Roaches as well. As the Roaches are moving across the map, Void Rays do have the benefit of being able to attack and move at the same time, as the Roaches are just running laps now.
By the way, here we have a small run by Sage, only 2 Zealots. but this may as well force a cancel on this expansion. And oh, as we can see, Rex SSanaEE is just getting back to his own base. He chickened out and he doesn't want to lose all of his roaches to Void Rays. 3 Void Rays is just enough. And this expansion does get in fact cancelled, so Sage with only 2 Zealots dealing just too much damage.
Alright, we're going to see Sage now move in. He does have 3 Void Rays here. If he Prismatic charges off of that Spore Crawler or the Prismatic alignment, kills the Spore Crawler. Oh, going for the spawning pool instead. And that building will get taken down in a matter of seconds. I believe that's equivalent to 25 damage a second to any armored building. And that really goes to show you how powerful these Void Rays are.
And now, you know, SSanaEE is just trying to run around, destroy the pylons, but in the place of every pylon, 2 more grow. It works just like a Hydra in Greek mythology, but then he notices this one. He probably watched the replay from one of the previous games, and we already have four Void Rays on the field. Now it's kind of interesting. A very old Wings of Liberty unit which has undergone a lot of changes, and now with the addition of this prismatic realignment, alignment. I keep thinking something changes, so it has to be realignment. So with the addition of that ability, they are just so much more viable in PvZ.
Yeah, especially when the Void Rays couldn't really focus on targets that quickly. Too many units were moving around. The Void Rays now just activate the ability for essentially a 60% damage increase, and you can see the roaches walking straight through, taking so much damage.
Yes.
But now Hydralisks are there, and the Void Rays like, I don't want to deal with that. Decide to back off.
All of the roaches went just splat. Now we have a good set of sentries with a lot of force fields in stock. We already have 2 Colossi. So, these force fields have been nearly perfect, but now, right now Sage is catching up with his force fields, and Hydras with the bonus speed movement are just able to run away from this. Normally they would just die off.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. That bonus speed movement put in by Blizzard, allowing those Hydras to move as quickly as an upgraded Zealot 2.81. Very, very fast movement speed indeed, as the Void Rays quickly focused out some Overlords. Could get the Spore Crawler very quickly. Why even back off? In comes some Hydralisks though, and you do need to be wary about those, as they do attack and have very good range. And
also move faster than Void Rays, even off creep right now, because the Hydralisk move speed the Hydralisk movement speed thank you very much, my second half of the brain, used to be exactly the same as the movement speed of a Void Ray, and right now the Hydras are even faster, so they are able to catch Void Rays even if they are outside creep.
Yeah, that in and of itself makes Hydralisks much more effective against those Void Rays. Add in the fact that they are not armored units, so that they'll only be taking 6 damage per attack, maybe 10 or 12 damage a second, and you realize that the Hydralisk is actually out-damaging the Void Ray, even though it does have significantly less hit points.
You know, there is one aspect of this game that perhaps we have missed. Could you imagine that if these 2 guys sit next to each other, would you imagine just before dropping a Dark Templar, perhaps Sage would just, tickle his opponent because he sits on his left?
He's like, you know what, you're gonna feel this coming first. Okay, yeah. Stalkers, Void Rays, Colossi now coming in. The Hydralisks are in a very bad position, as the Colossi are gonna be there. They have nowhere to retreat or run to, but the Void Rays getting very gung-ho, moving forward, and all those units caught out of position there. Sage is gonna absolutely destroy this. It's a meat grinder. Every Zerg unit has burned to a crisp or sliced up by Psyblades.
Yeah, I love steak, medium rare if you ask me. Now I love the additional force fields, and Sage has worked these sentries just as the fight has evolved, and he knew that okay, he's probably going this way, so I need 3 sentries to block this ramp, and then I will be able to catch him in a trap, and he did exactly that. So another example of how smartly can Sage play.
Yeah, Sage has just been cold and calculating. He lost the base, but he's gonna win the war here. The Corruptors, wow, that is a lot of Corruptors now coming in. Is it gonna be enough? 13 Corruptors. Is there enough Stalkers? Void Rays do have that prismatic alignment, trying to focus them down. The Corruptors are not using the corruption, and Sage takes game 4.
Which means, which means he wins this tournament, guys, 3-1. Very good games in the finals. Two guys that were sitting next to each other, but still gave us a very good exhibition of their skill. Now, it's great to see how this Master Cup has evolved. The first lineup for the first edition of the tournament was good, but even with the next edition come even better lineups. So right now we're at a stage where I think both you and I are very satisfied with what sort of games are we seeing, and we in fact see a lot of innovative play, which is what all the tournaments are all about. So to sum this up, again, thank you very much for watching, guys. With me casting was Crota. Thank you, mate, for coming, and I won't be keeping you too long. Go get your lunch because I imagine you're quite hungry by now. And yeah, that's it for tonight. Any last thoughts?
No, just happy to see some high-level StarCraft, and if you got, and invite me back again, and I'll be here.
Yeah, alright. So anyway, guys, we'll be off now. See you later. Hope you enjoyed this cast, and see you in 3 weeks, because then we'll be having the next StarCraft 2 tournament in Heart of the Swarm. We're taking 2 weeks break because we won't be casting Wings of Liberty while the beta is down. So see you later, alligator, and thank you for watching.